What's up, my people? It's your girl with Tomboy Chronicles. I'm just a little frustrated. It's just too many conversations about these gender wars. It's like dating is already hard enough, relationships already hard enough, and the fact that we're attacking each other, mostly in the black community, attacking each other as men and women. First of all, I like to start off by saying, look, I grew up in the church. I don't care what you think you know about me. I don't care what you say about me. I don't care what path you think you're going down when you talk about me. But I don't care what you think about the church. I just grew up in the church. So it's certain things that are of value from the church. Everything about the church is not wrong. Everything in the Bible is not wrong. Again, the Bible is man-made. The Bible is written by man, so there are flaws. It's been interpreted millions of times, so there has to be flaws. You don't have to believe everything in there, but there's some key things in there that are great to live a good life. So in saying that, I grew up half my childhood with a mother and father in the household, married. I grew up with both sets of grandparents married to the day they died. Both of them died, never remarried or anything. I grew up watching 90% of my aunts and uncles being married in healthy relationships. And I also have been married. So it's just a couple of things that nowadays are just amiss in relationships and talking about marriage. There's a lot of men out here that want wives that don't want to be husbands. And I made a comment to someone saying that a lot of these men, how they're acting like they're the female in the relationship. And the response was, y'all bees be acting like niggas. So therefore, it makes sense. But I just don't like that. These general statements, these general accusations, like, we have to figure out a way to get back to that biblical marriage, that biblical love, that those expectations, and I don't really care about everyone else's opinions, because that's what worked. That's what kept families together. That's what kept the unity together. Yes, the Bible says the man has to show himself worthy of a wife. So yes, the man has to come in saying, I am in a position in my life to have a wife I need to take care of. He has to be in a position to be the head of a family, to take care of a family. They never said, you got to ask your wife what she putting in, what job she working, what she doing, da 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 da. Once you pick a wife, that wife, she becomes submissive, because guess what? She has a provider. She has a protector. So she's able to care for her home, for her children, and do everything her husband needs of her in this aspect. So we've gotten so far away from that because we got baby mamas, baby daddies. Baby mamas got to take care of their kids by themselves. They got to do everything on their own. So of course, when you've been put in that situation, of course, you put yourself in that situation. I was a single mother too, so I can't blame anybody. I made a decision to have sex out of wedlock and got pregnant and had this child, and I had to do what I had to do, and I did everything I could to keep her dad involved in her life and be a part of that, but I had to do it on my own. Is that something that I wanted? Is that something I planned for my life? No. So guess what? When you're doing that, and as women, when you're doing it on your own so long, and a man comes in, no, I heard this guy say, oh, that sounds crazy, you saying I gotta do this and that and take you back to your soft era because all these other people messed up, blah 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 blah. That's not. It's like you're taking what's being said the totally wrong way. If a woman has been through a traumatic relationship, even if she's been married, like she did the right thing, she got married, she was in a relationship, she did everything as a wife, everything she needed, and the relationship didn't work out, whether it was abuse, whether it was financial, whether it was infidelity, and she had to leave the relationship, guess what? She do have to rebuild trust in that construct of a relationship and a marriage. And it does take time to heal. We all need to heal. The men need to heal on their end too. If they grew up in a single parent household with a mother, and so they were never taught how to be a man. They were never taught to be a protector and a provider. They were never taught these things that they should be able to do for their woman and prove that they can be all that she needs. Your personal growth is your responsibility. So blaming the other person for you not really being where you need to be in a relationship, that's on you. As women, we are in a situation where we have to work now. So of course, when we look for a relationship, we want that balance. Like, even if we're not expecting you to pay all the bills, it should be in your mind as a man, this is what I'm supposed to do. If I have these expectations of her to keep the house clean, to cook meals for me, to take care of my kids, and to do all these things, and work as well as I'm working too, it's not going to be a happy household. It's not going to be a good situation. A lot of women are very defensive, and they do get to the point where they're like, I don't need a man, you know. We need each other. We weren't put on this world and this earth to be alone. We do need our other half. We do need accountability. These relationships, they build that accountability. If you're in a good relationship, a positive relationship, you know, I usually tell people when they ask, like, you got to go in these relationships asking questions. Ask all the questions. Get all the expectations up front. If you are men out here and you want a woman to pay half and you want her to do all these things, you know, it may be some women out there, but don't bash the woman that said, hey, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a traditional marriage or a traditional relationship. I don't want a 50-50 relationship where I gotta pay 50-50, or I don't want just that, or I'm okay with paying half the bills, sir, but we got to talk about the chores in the household. We got to talk about the responsibilities. You can't put a gender on these responsibilities if you took the main responsibility that the Bible says that you're supposed to be the provider. So you can't take that off the table and then say, but I expect you as a wife, you still got to do all these things, although I'm not going to be the 100% provider. It has to be a conversation, and it has to be a talk early on. Like, if you know you're looking for marriage, you're looking for a committed relationship, don't be afraid to have these conversations. Don't be afraid to set the boundaries. Don't be afraid to say, you know, this is what I want. This is what I'm not going to tolerate. Don't let anybody, man or woman, bully you because you spoke up for yourself and said, I'm not going to deal with this and this. You are allowed. And in saying that, if they don't like it, you can decide to part ways. That's the beautiful thing about relationships. In relationships, it's getting to know the other person and making a decision on what you want for your life. So don't ever let anybody make you feel like, oh, you're not this, you're not that, you know, you your past, whatever. Nobody knows your journey. Nobody knows your healing. You probably could have been married 10,000 times, and then it was the 10,001 time around that you decided that you wanted to look for something real, that you went through your healing process. You went to learn yourself, loved yourself more, and made a decision. But the point of this is, I always say, love yourself and love each other. That's not just me saying something. When you truly love yourself, you're able to love others. If we're out here bashing men and women because we just don't want to be with each other, just say you prefer not to date this sex or that sex. But us attacking each other, we're not going to get anywhere. We're not going to get back to where we used to be, like our grandparents had. And a lot of people say, well, you know what, your grandma was getting beaten and she was scared to leave. Okay, guess what? In some scenarios, the man started off tough or whatever, and they got in that marriage. She got in that marriage. She believed in that man. She put everything behind that man, and guess what? He grew out of it, and that's why they were able to stay together. We didn't run at the slightest sign of trouble. And the thing now is, because women are able to take care of themselves financially, it's like, what am I in this relationship for? If I can take care of myself financially, I need the other person to come in and match that, or, be a peaceful part of my life, be an addition to my life. Like right now in my life, I work, y'all hear me talk about, I work a lot, I work really hard, I do what I gotta do. So when I'm looking for a relationship, I'm looking for my partner in crime. I'm looking for somebody that's gonna roll with me. I like to travel, I like to see different countries, I like to learn different things, I like to go to concerts, I like to try different foods, I like to watch different things, different movies, I like to experience life through the eyes of other people. And that's in every aspect of my life. So I want a partner that can go along for the ride with me in love. you know. And of course, you know, I don't want anybody to come stay with me for free. So I do want you to pull your weight in the household. If you can't financially provide as much as I can, you need to pick up the weight somewhere else. I think that's only fair. Again, it doesn't go back to biblical standards, but you make those adjustments. The expectations of you need to have that's not a standard for everybody. It's just for you. So putting this blanket statement and saying every woman is like this, every man is like that, it's not fair. We have to come to a point where you realize, hey, the places I'm looking for this person may not be here, because all these people in this type of mindset, they hang out in these places. I need to go to where the people I'm looking for. If you're on these dating sites, a lot of these dating sites, I don't even know. I even think Christian Mingles is full of crap. A lot of these dating sites is just for hooking up. It's just for a lot of people just to find something temporary or see how far they can get and get what they want and not have to put anything in. I think we need to go back to the old school way of dating. If that means your parents find you somebody married, or you go out in the real world and find somebody, go to church and find somebody, go somewhere where, you know, something that you like, so somebody has the same common interest. Let's try these different ways. But tearing each other down and putting these labels and saying, oh, this sounds crazy when you say this. Like when a woman says, when they say, like, bring me into my soft area, blah, 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 what they're saying is actually correct. Because for a woman to be submissive, she has to trust you with her everything. You have to show her that she can trust you with her life. And then those walls come down and she's all yours. So whatever verbiage y'all using, they're correct in what they're saying. Bring me in my soft area. Bring me out of my trauma. Bring me out of this. You know, leave all those words out of it. It's like, I can't just openly give you all of me without knowing that I can trust you with all of me. That's all that is. And we over glorify, you know, make things more difficult than it should. I have to know, and men as well, I have to know that I can trust you with my heart as well. That's a true statement. Whether you've had trauma or not, whether you've had a great bringing up, you had a 2-parent household and everything's great, you went to Ivy League school, whatever, you still have to make sure you can trust this person with your heart. We all gonna have a guard up. We're all gonna be like you should be. You have a guard up, because this, like my last video, this is your home. This is your temple. If you just let anybody in and out of your temple and do you any kind of way, your temple is going to crumble. So you have to build up those walls. Put your best men at the front of them doors and say, hey, look, we're not just going to let you in just because, you know. So you have to, we do have to have that to an extent, you know. Again, there's a right person for everyone. It's a man that's willing to chip at those little things. That woman that had to work hard, that had to raise their kids by herself, that got to do all these things, that dealt with men that did her wrong, that dealt with abuse, that dealt with all these things. There's a man out there that can walk her through that and accept her for that. That's the man for her. You might not want to do it. It's somebody that will. Ladies, it's men out here that, you know, have it all together, got all that. They just want a woman that they can trust, that's going to be loyal to them and trust them. You might not be that loyal chick. You might want to be in these streets all the time. You just need him for XYZ. Walk away. But, you know, that's easier said than done. But, you know, I'm gonna get off my soapbox. It's just a quick thing, you know. And it's like, again, it goes back to you know who you are at the core. I know who I am. I'm not gonna allow somebody to demoralize me, because I have some very strict morals about myself and how I deal with people and you know, and how I live my life. So I'm not gonna let anybody try to tell me what they think I do or how I do it, blah blah blah. You know, you don't know my life, you don't walk my walk, you don't talk to all my friends, you don't talk to all my families, you don't talk to all my clients, you don't talk to my exes, you don't talk to my current. So you can't tell me how I am in this world. You can't tell me about me. Only I and God can tell me about me. So anyway, bottom line, I want us to come together. I want people to love again. I want people to respect the institution of marriage. I want people to make these unions, because that's what's, the family is what builds a nation. And the sooner we realize that all this other stuff we talking about, all this other stuff that's going on, if we can get back to that family unit, all this other stuff goes away. That's easier said than done. But, you know, that's all I got for you today. Go Falcons. I like always, love yourself and love each other. I love you. God bless.